Hi there, my name is Diane, but you can just call me D. So for today's video, I'm gonna be filming this introduction, but I've already read all the books for this video. I decided to make it a series on this channel that I read the debut samplers from Tor.com every year. So every year, Tor releases an ebook version of maybe like two chapters of some books that they've pre-selected that are debut. So far I've seen anywhere between 5 to 7 samples, and it's a lot of sci-fi, it's a lot of magical realism and mystery and horrors. Mystery, horrors and fantasy is something that is the most attractive to me, so I enjoy reading and getting a glimpse of books that I think it's a bit more on the literary fiction side. Even though it's the type of genres I enjoy, it's not the side of those genres that I usually read. So it's always interesting to read and to see what's new and what's going on, and if there's anything that I could be interested in. Alright, so I'm gonna start reading the 2022 debut sampler from Tor. The first one is called Battle of the Linguist Mages. So it's set in a modern day Los Angeles, and there's a shadowy faction led by the governor of California that develops the arcane art of combat linguistics, planting the seeds of a future totalitarian empire. Oh, interesting. And the author is Scotto Moore. Right, let's get reading. What to think about this. So it has a 3.43 star rating on Goodreads with 751 ratings and 252 reviews at this time, and it was published in early January. Is this a short story? No, it's not a short story. Okay. So I think the first chapter was mostly about a video game that the main character is part of. Like, they are really good at that game. They're the first one to ever always finish the games. I think maybe I haven't really started getting to see the storyline about the resistance movement. I don't think I got a good grasp of where the story is going, because to be honest, like, it was literally just the main character playing that game. Not a fan, but I think the premise is interesting. It's just that it's not really set up in the first chapter. So I mean, it is what it is. With reading those kind of samples, you know, they're very short, so you only really get the beginning of something, if that. You know, the first chapter doesn't really always enthrall you into persevering through a book, or doesn't really even give you a good idea of what the book is gonna look like. But I think just based on the writing, I think it's a bit pretentious. There's a lot of, not pop culture reference, but a lot of game reference. I don't know if it's the main character who is like that or if it's the actual writing, but it sounded super pretentious and obnoxious. I would not actually pick up that book, but I think if you're interested in that sort of premise, it might be interesting. Honestly, like, the actual plot of the book might be quite interesting to read. It's just that based on the writing style so far, I'm gonna give it a pass. Alright, so I'm back to read the second sample. So this one is called Comeuppance Served Cold by Marianne Deeds. And basically Tor says that it is a hard-boiled historical fantasy of criminality and magic couched in the glamour of Miss Fisher's murder mysteries. So that sounds really interesting. Also, the cover looks like it's set in the 20s. So I'd be interested to see what it's like, and maybe it's gonna be a cozy murder mystery, so that'd be really cool. Maybe it's gonna be something like Agatha Christie-esque, maybe? I mean, murder mystery, we'll see. So let's read and see what I think. Okay, well, to start with, the font is like super small. I really dislike that. Let's see if I can up it up a little bit. So I just finished. This was weird. First of all, I think it started with a little action scene that was like in the future, and then there is part 1 with chapter 1 that I read, where it's based 13 days before the scene, and I was right, it's in the 20s and it's in Seattle. So it's kind of strange because it's weird how it's meshing the fantasy aspect with the mystery, like murder mystery. Although I have to say, like, I don't know what the murder mystery would be in this just yet. It was very brief. Didn't really give much to what was going on. You're basically just opening, like the scene basically opens up with this Dolly White being interviewed, or I guess already having the job to look after a commissioner's daughter, I think, because she's been acting out as she's getting closer to getting married to someone. So on Goodreads it has 3.78 average star rating with 486 ratings and 133 reviews. So not too much, so I would say it's pretty okay, it's pretty good. It's pretty good rating. Well, even reading the synopsis, I wouldn't even know where this book is going. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like I would still need to read much more. So I don't really have much to say, unfortunately, about this one, because I feel like there's so much to the story that we barely even started. I mean, it's usually like this when you read just the first chapter, but sometimes you can grasp a bit more about the story, you can grasp a bit more about the writing style and all that. And yeah, so it's a bit boring, but I don't really have anything to say. The writing wasn't bad. I don't know that I would continue this, just because even though it sounds interesting in theory, like fantasy in the 20s with a murder mystery, the way it's seemingly being set up and the way like I'm reading from the synopsis, it just doesn't seem that something that would be intriguing to me. That's it for that one. I guess this is not really interesting, but I mean, that happens for some samples, you know. I can't like everything, or I can't have strong feelings about everything, but yeah, if you're into murder mystery, set in a historical setting with a bit of fantasy, I would check it out. Maybe that's something that you would like. It did feel a little bit like A Marvelous Light, because of you know, magical government and all that. So I don't know if that would be similar to it, but that'd be interesting to see someone read both books and see if they find that is there's like similarities, or it's or not, or if I completely missed the mark and it's actually completely different. I don't know. Well, I guess this isn't really like a full-fledged novel. It is 192 pages, so there's that. Well, yeah, that's it. Alright, so I'm gonna be reading the third sample, and then I Woke Up by Malcolm Devlin. Also, I'm filming on my new camera, so I'm really excited to see how it turns out. Hopefully the sound is good. I'm not using the external mic. I just want to see what the sound quality is, but yeah, hopefully that's okay. So for this one, Tor said, in the tradition of Mira Grant and Stephen Graham Jones, Malcolm Devlin's And Then I Woke Up is a creepy, layered literary story about false narratives and their ability to divide us. Okay, alright. Then I guess let's just try it and see how I like it. So I just finished it. Alright, so on Goodreads it has a 3.62 rating, average rating, with 1,335 ratings, which I think might be the most we've seen so far, and 299 reviews. So there is a bit of magic in this, although in that first chapter I haven't encountered it at all. It's definitely, I think, going to be horror. So this is a novella. It's 167 pages. I honestly have no idea, from what I just read, what is actually the plot. In my mind, from what I just read, we are in potentially like a psychiatric ward. I don't know, or maybe like rehabilitation center for people that have done horrific things, from what I'm understanding. And we're following one character who's just talking about this girl who's been very, very silent this whole time that she's been there, and they are trying to talk to her and, you know, get to know her or something like that. The writing style is interesting. It almost talks to you. So you kind of feel like in the thoughts of the main character. It's not bad. I did enjoy it. But let me read the synopsis on Goodreads and see if that makes sense. So I guess in this world there's supposed to be, there's a disease that affects how reality is perceived. So it is a rehabilitation facility, okay. So I guess in that place they are trying to cure some people that have been affected by the disease. Is what happening like true? Is it just all in the mind of the main character? Okay, so honestly the first chapter didn't really feel like it was something like that, but I think maybe as you read more you get the feeling of that magical realism and that sense of falseness maybe in the narrative. So honestly I would totally pick it up and see where it's going. I didn't really enjoy this first chapter. I'm not sure if knowing that things might be false, or that, you know, I'm not sure if that's gonna be something I would enjoy. I just don't know. But the chapter was good, and it honestly made you want, like at the beginning that was fine, then it was just so short, but I still wanted to like continue reading. So I'm gonna check it out, see if I can find it at on the Libby app at my library, and if I can, because it's just a short novella, then I will try and pick it up and read it. But yeah, that's it for this sample. Okay, so I know this isn't the greatest light or the greatest angle, but we're just gonna try it out. It's nighttime. I'm about to go to bed. I wanted to read another sample. So the next one is gonna be January 15th by Rachel Swirsky. Let's see what Tor has to say about this. Celebrated short fiction author Rachel Swirsky. Swirsky? Not sure. Returns with January 15th, a gut-wrenching near-future novella humanizing the experimental, practically science-fictional policy of universal basic income. So if you are not new to my channel, you know that I do not enjoy science fiction. Is not my favorite genre, but for some reason I gravitate towards it a lot. Like, there's a lot of sci-fi on my TBR. I just don't know why. I think it's a very specific kind of science fiction that I don't like. So something that is maybe apocalyptic, that's something I don't really like. Anything that has to do with war, I don't necessarily enjoy. So we'll see how this goes. This is about 10 pages, so I'm gonna read it and get back to you on this. Just finished. This is really well written and it's very intriguing, I would say. So let me check on Goodreads a bit more details about it. So January 15th has an average of 3.43 stars rating with 270 ratings and 87 reviews. It's 240 pages, so it's a good length. I mean, it's not a long book, but so I'm guessing from the synopsis on Goodreads we are following more than one person, but so far in that chapter I only got the perspective of one person. Her name was Janelle, and she is a journalist who interviews people about this universal basic income day. So I'm not sure what the hell that is. It hasn't been explained. I guess this is a day when all Americans receive their annual payment for the universal basic income. So that's intriguing. You get that, and then you need to stretch this payment throughout the year. So I'm guessing that we're gonna follow like a few people that receive that payment and how, like, their different perspectives on that and how they handle this. So that's sounds pretty interesting to me, to be honest. I might check it out. Honestly, like, it's not badly written at all. It's easy to read and it's intriguing. There's a bit of a different technology. There's, instead of a phone, there is this wrister. She was making it sound like it's the same thing as a phone, but you have to wear it. So I'm guessing it's more so like the Apple Watch, maybe. Honestly, I got a good idea of the writing and like the tone of the book, but I haven't got a good idea of where this is going, like what's the point of it. So I'd be interested in continuing for sure. Yeah, it's a good one. Alright, we're back with the next sample. So this one is called Face by Joma West, and Tor.com says Margaret Atwood meets Kazuo Ishiguro in Joma West's Face. Hopefully I'm saying the name right. A sci-fi domestic drama that reimagines race and class in a genetically engineered society fed by performative fame. Ooh, not sure I'm gonna enjoy that one. Alright, let's see. Let's get reading. This was weird. On Goodreads, this book has an average rating of 3.27 stars with 100 ratings and 42 reviews. I don't think I got enough of the story to understand what the plot is, where this is going. This was a very strange introduction. I don't think I would continue with this. So it's 272 pages. So they are those manuals which are maybe a class of the society that are they have to do what they are trained to do, so, and they don't really know anything else apart from their job, so they lack vocabulary, they lack understanding of things. In Face it says that the skin color is an aesthetic choice designed by professionals. Consent is a pre-checked box on the path to social acceptance, and your online profile isn't just the most important things, it is the only thing. Face is a novel about the lies we allow ourselves to believe in order to make us feel whole. So honestly, from this chapter, I don't think I got much out of what the story is gonna be like. This was very meh. It didn't really grab my attention. I thought it was weird. So if you enjoy weird, maybe you'll like that. It's a bit too sexualized for me. But yeah, I probably would not continue with that. Alright, so I'm gonna try to finish the samples that I have left. I believe I have 2 left, so yeah, the next one is Leech by Aaron Ennis. Not sure I'm saying that right, but let's see what Tor has to say about this. And I think it's probably the one I've heard the most about, or anything about really so far. Meet the cure for the human disease in this dark and infectious debut from the author. Leech is Edgar Allan Poe mixed with Ridley Scott, Jeff Vandermeer, with a side of Charlotte Bronte. The Thing from the Thing's point of view. Ooh. It will worm its way deep into your bones and hold you hostage to your own insatiable human fascination. That sounds disgusting. Okay, so is this horror like with some gore in there? I don't know, because I'm not really a fan of that, but we'll see. Let's get reading, and hopefully it's not too scary. Alright, so I just finished the second to last sample, and it was actually 2 chapters. The first one was 15 pages and the second one was 7 pages. So honestly, this is the longest sample I've had from this debut sampler and also from last year's, so that's kind of cool. I'm very intrigued about it. I think I'm gonna be, I don't know if I would continue that just because it's a bit gory and it's not really my kind of horror. It sounds like it's about an infectious disease, but honestly, from what I've understood from it, you are basically following the perspective of this being who gets to bring on death. He's going to a place to explore, to look at a dead body and see what happened to that victim, and it turns out that it was him before. He's just saying that he doesn't remember dying, and so he doesn't know what happened, so he's looking into this mystery, and he retrieved this black substance from the body, and he's saying, uh-oh, I've got a competitor. So that's super intriguing to me. Like, I don't know really what it means. Who is this being who can, you know, hop into different bodies when they die? So on Goodreads it has a 4.06 star rating, and let's see, I think it was barely just published, so it's super new, and it's a whole novel, so it's just, I think it's the second novel sample that we have. Honestly, what? The synopsis on Goodreads is a bit different from, you know, from what I was expecting, but so that's how it goes. In an isolated chateau as far north as north goes, the Baron's doctor has died. The doctor's replacement has a mystery to solve, discovering how the Institute lost track of one of its many bodies. For hundreds of years, the Provincial Medical Institute has grown by taking roots in young minds and shaping them into doctors, replacing every human practitioner of medicine. The Institute is here to help humanity, to cure and to cut, to cradle and protect the species from the apocalyptic horrors the ancestors unleashed. In the frozen north, the Institute body will discover a competitor for its rank at the top of the evolutionary ladder. A parasite is spreading through the Baron's castle, already a dark pit of secrets, lies, violence, and fear. The two will make war on the battlefield of the body. Whichever wins, humanity will lose again. Okay, so it's weird. It's intriguing. So I don't think I would continue with it just because, like I said, it's not really my type of horror, but I think it's gonna probably, a lot of people are probably gonna enjoy it, so I'll be curious to see what are the reviews coming up and to hear more on BookTube what they've thought, just because, like I said, it's a book that I've heard a lot of people talk. So I don't know, do you think that one is intriguing? We'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna be reading the last sample. Let's see, this one is called Self-Portrait with Nothing by Aimee Pogwaktka. Pepper Rafferty has lived her entire adult life knowing two things: that the famous artist Ulla Frost's paintings are purported to harbor magical powers, and that Ulla Frost is the woman who gave her away. Self-Portrait with Nothing is a heart-stopping quest for truth written for a postmodern age, with the world melding of David Mitchell and the intimacy of Marilyn Robinson. Okay, it's not really speaking to me much, but we'll see how this goes. And it has quite a few pages too, so we'll see. Alright, so I just finished the last sample, and like I said, it was 17 pages, and it was really good, actually. It's probably the one I like to continue reading the most. So let's see what Goodreads says about this book. So it has a 4.20 stars, average star rating, so I think that's the highest we've seen so far. with 112 ratings and 61 reviews at this time, and it's about 304 pages. So basically in this story there's a painter who is very famous, has a cult following, and it is believed that her paintings hold some sort of magical power where if you have one of her paintings or self-portraits and things like that, you're able to see a different world. Basically it's a different version of yourself in another world, so it's like a parallel universe. So very interesting, very intriguing. I really like the way it's written. It's very well written, but it's not too much. I find that in Leech, the previous sample, the writing was good, but it felt a bit too descriptive. There was just too much going on in terms of the descriptions, whereas this one, no, it's really well written. I really enjoy it, and honestly I'm probably gonna be continuing with that one. There is a mystery here because apparently this painter, she disappeared, and so her assistant is concerned about it, and he's going to look into it maybe. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what that goes for sure. So that's probably the one out of all of them I would pick up. I guess we can do a bit of a wrap up. We had 4 novellas and 3 novels in terms of samples. The ones I enjoyed the most were Self-Portrait with Nothing, then I would say it was And Then I Woke Up. I think it's a novella that I would be interested in reading as well, for sure. And then Leech would be the third one. I did enjoy January 15th, but now a few days have passed and I'm not really feeling like I want to continue. I don't feel like it really grabbed that much attention. I'm not remembering everything about it, so okay. And I think Face and Battle of the Linguist Mages, definitely I would not want to continue with those. Comeuppance Served Cold, I actually forgot what this was about. Pretty good. I mean, it's interesting to see that a diverse type of books that I would not usually necessarily pick up, so it's interesting to see and to get a glimpse of those type of stories, and potentially find something that I would actually enjoy without necessarily having thought of picking up beforehand. So that's cool. Have you read any of those books? I'd be interested to hear your opinions about those, so let me know down below if you read any of those, and if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe, and I also would recommend watching my previous installment of this video, which was the samples of 2021. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.